Hey. We are live with the Money Match Gaming podcast where we talk Deadpool 2 today. Today, me and my co-host, Dan Estrata. There we go.
Yep,
there we
there
go.
you
Right
go.
over there. Cool.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Fusion Dan.
Me and my
What's
man,
up?
Dan Estrata, are going to be talking Deadpool 2. Dan Estrata, please
What's
take
up?
it away, man.
What's up, guys? I'm Dan Estrata, and this is once again the Money Match Gaming podcast, where we talk about all things, whether it be movies or video games, or just what's going on in the culture, gaming culture today. And specifically today, we are talking about the movie Deadpool 2. Now, if you don't know, Deadpool 2 is the sequel to Deadpool 1. That's pretty much all you really need to know about it. It's starring Ryan Reynolds, who played Deadpool in the first one, and Josh Brolin. You also may know him as Thanos from whatchamacallit, the new Avengers, and I guess all the Avengers in a way. And it's directed by David Leitch, who also is uncredited as one of the directors for John Wick, and he directed Atomic Blonde, a movie we saw earlier, like last year. And he also plays the Juggernaut in this movie. So David Leitch, that's the guy. And it was a pretty damn good movie. I had a very hard time thinking of bad things that I didn't like about the movie. So we'll start with cons and then end it with just like kind of a circle jerk of things we liked about the movie.
First off, we gotta launch it off properly. Let me go ahead and read a little bit about what the movie is.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah. That's fine, guy. That's why I'm here. That's why half your co-host team is here.
What's his voice? What's his voice you're doing here?
What is this?
What is this? Who is this guy?
So, here we go. Very short and sweet. So, Deadpool 2. Foul-mouthed mutant mercenary Wade Wilson, a.k.a. Deadpool, brings together a team of fellow mutants, rogues, to protect a young boy with supernatural abilities from the brutal, time-traveling cyborg Cable. End. like it was so weirdly written. But yeah, that's essentially Deadpool 2.
For sure.
I'm not even sure if I'd word it that way.
I think they word it like that because of how many swerves and misdirections between the advertisements and the actual movie there are. Okay. I'll talk about that for a little bit. It's not a con. It's not a bad thing. I actually thought it was really interesting. But the way they marketed this movie and the way they advertised it made it seem like that X-Force team that they built in Act 2 was going to be a big part of the movie, like that was going to be the group, and it just wasn't. They all, I kind of don't want to say what happens because watching it was really enjoyable, but I assume that everybody who is listening to this
spoilers, man. We're discussing it.
This is spoilers.
Spoilers, man.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched Deadpool 2 and you want to, and you're watching this, don't turn it off. Go watch the movie, and then this will be on YouTube later, so you can watch it there. But yeah, so all those guys die, like instantly, like hilarious deaths.
Except
all
Misfortune.
Around. No, Domino.
Domino. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which is great. I mean, because
isn't she really Lady Luck though? Is that like her actual name or no?
No, Domino's the name of
okay.
a character. I that's really close to Deadpool. I don't really know if I don't know much about the Deadpool lore or all these other characters. I know of Domino. I've heard of Domino. I've played games with Domino featured, but I didn't know that Luck was like her big thing. And if it is, cool, because I thought that Zazie Beetz was awesome as Domino, and I was happy with the amount of time she was in the movie. Honestly, she could have even been in the movie more, and I would have liked it, but she was the one survivor, essentially, until the post-credit scene, we'll talk about later. But yeah, so the whole movie is advertised as like, that's the group, these are the guys, and then it turns out that none of those are the guys, and he just makes a whole new group by the end with the X-Men. But yeah, cons. Let's start with cons, or let's talk about cons now. I honestly don't have any cons listed. I know there's at least one thing you didn't like about the movie, so let's talk about it.
I didn't like any of the villains of the movie. I didn't like the principal, the torturer principal, or the ward of racist mutant pricks. as well as Fire Fist himself, who, at the end of the movie, he's a good guy, great, awesome. But I thought he was kind of terrible throughout the movie. And then Juggernaut he just didn't do it for me. Like, as far as, like, the way he, like, talks and stuff and, like, the things he does, cool, great. I just didn't like the way he looked.
That's fair.
And he, like, was like, oh, I'm gonna buddy up with this little kid and we're gonna go do something stupid. And I always thought Juggernaut was a little deeper than that. From what I remember growing up. Like,
it's possible. Honestly, I honestly wouldn't even consider any of those really villains. Like, they're kind of villains, but the main story arc wasn't like a hero versus villain tale. It was more of a, like,
the
family
evolution of Deadpool. Yeah, pretty much.
Well, no, yeah, it was more like a family tale, like realizing the importance of family and having strong figures in your life, whether it be like a role model or even someone to kind of help mold into a good person in the future, stuff like that. I thought that was a really interesting thing. But yeah, I don't really consider. I mean, the only villain I would really say was the dude who ran the, like, institution. But he's just a shitty dude who hated mutants. He wasn't like, he didn't have any powers or anything. There was no, like, big fight between. It was pretty much just like stopping Fire Fist from downright murdering him in cold blood. That's it.
Yeah, that's the movie.
Yeah.
See, like, the thing about it though is just like that. That kind of brings me into what my actual complaint is I just didn't like that plot point. Like, every other part of the movie was great, and, like, this actually made me a fan of Deadpool. I was never a fan of Deadpool. He just seemed stupid. Everything that I saw him in, I was kind of like, whatever. But this actually made me a fan. This clearly captured the spirit of Deadpool, and, like, the entire movie, you feel the way you're supposed to. It's like random chaos, and for some odd reason, he finds a state of happiness in this, like, random chaotic situation that he lives in, because that's, like, his life. And even his relationship was, like, this really hot and cold, like, just mess. And it's just like, I think it is, like, the story of a comedian at its heart. Like, that's how I think comedians feel. So whoever designed Deadpool, I think, was a comedian, and, like, that was kind of what he did, and he just did it with a superhero kind of backdrop. Yeah. It was like, so it's like, I really liked how they captured, like, the spirit of the movie, which is, like, blissful chaos. Like, I like how often he gets hurt. And, like, it hurts a lot. And he's, like, exactly like Wolverine, to where it's like, everything that you see happen to me.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
It just heals quick.
There's that. And then it's like, yeah, I'm feeling it, but I'm just so used to pain. Like, and that's kind of what this movie made me draw to. Was just kind of like how painful his experience was being a mutant that constantly has to fight these giant things. And, like, the only reason he kind of wins in a lot of these situations is just because I literally can't die.
It's really hard for him to lose, yeah.
Yeah, I literally can't die. So I'm going to keep swinging this sword and shooting these guns until something happens. And there's like a specialness to it. And, like, I thoroughly dislike Wolverine. I just do. I just don't like his character. And, like, he's, like, a better Wolverine in almost every aspect now. To me, just watching all the movies and stuff. Like, I actually am a fan now. Like, I'm a fan. I don't know what they're going to do with the later movies, though, because, like, I don't know if you could do that again. That was such a great-ass movie.
I don't know if everything was supposed to be more Deadpool. Like, because, Deadpool's whole thing is, like, being super meta and breaking the fourth wall and telling, like, experiencing it from the perspective of someone in a comic book, and they're telling you this story for the most part, like, as if, hey, we're having a regular conversation. I understand this is weird, but this is just what's going to happen. Like, that's kind of what, like, Deadpool's deal is. So they're actually talking about not even doing a Deadpool 3 and just skipping to Deadpool 4, which would be interesting. And I think it would be, like, I think that's funny in itself, just being like, Deadpool 4, like, what happened to Deadpool 3? Like, don't worry about it.
No. Yeah, quit. Stop asking questions. This is how it goes, all right?
So I don't know if they are going to actually make a sequel to this, especially because now the whole thing with Disney and Fox and although there is probably a lot of money to be made in another Deadpool movie. I don't know if uh, Disney wants their hands. I just can't see Disney producing R-rated content. Like, it just doesn't. I think they should at some point, but I understand why they won't, because at heart Disney is like, you know, for the youth, even though it's more enjoyed by the adults these days. And like, I even talk about when I'm going to see Incredibles 2, any little kids try and ruin that movie for me, beat them up. I don't care.
I'll strike you down.
I waited 14 years for this movie. You shall not ruin the experience.
I can't believe they waited so damn long. There's like that movie, like it was popular, right? Like everybody I know loves that damn movie.
I thought it was a good movie. I haven't watched it in probably 14 years. I don't own that movie. That's one of the few movies, like, it's not one of the few movies I don't own, but it's one of the Pixar movies I don't own. And I'm going to revisit it before I see it. And it actually comes out soon. It comes out in a few weeks here. So we'll probably do an episode on that, guys. Just as a heads up.
Well, that's easy. Because, like, I love that movie. All my friends love that movie. Everybody that watches that movie around me loves that movie.
It's like the best non, like, comic book superhero movie other than maybe Kick-Ass. But even Kick-Ass has its own comic book in a way. It's a good superhero story, like, and it's a superhero family too, which is interesting. Like, it's a nice take on it. So
it was just good in general. So it's like I don't understand. I just like some of these things I just don't get. Like,
in the meantime, we got fucking 3 cars. So cars 1, 2, and 3. And me personally, I didn't ask for cars 1, but you know, whatever. We also got planes.
But whatever, all right?
We got Planes, which is the spin-off of Cars with planes with faces. Starring Dane Cook. Whatever. No Incredibles 2, but yeah, we'll get all that stuff out of the way, I guess.
Fair enough. I don't understand, Dan. I was like hoping you brought it up. I was hoping for closure. This is why it didn't happen, Lance.
Yeah, I wish I had that information to give you, but I honestly just don't know. It's then damn anti-Incredible establishment.
Damn those bastards.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess the only other thing that I'd have to say about the movie is like, it just doesn't take itself very serious. And I think that's why it's so hard for us to talk about. Because it's one giant running joke. I feel like every scene seems to have comedy in it. It like, you know, I mentioned the plot point, but like, having a serious plot point or having an in-depth bad guy might have ruined the spirit of the movie in itself.
For sure. I think
to where it's like, it's supposed to be aimless. It's supposed to be random good fun. And like, you know, that's what this movie is. It hits that on the nail.
And like the first one, there was a bad guy, but sort of, it was more just of a revenge tale, you know? Like, oh, this guy kind of fucking tortured me when I had cancer to try. I mean, he turned me into a mutant, so cool, and now I can't die, but also fuck this guy for torturing me and putting me through that shit. So that was interesting. I think this movie improved on the first one in every way possible.
Oh, dude. 100%.
Like, the first one was good. I very much so enjoyed the first one. I really liked it when I saw it, and I saw it a couple times in theaters. I will see this one also a couple times in theaters, and I very much so enjoyed this one. And I just thought everything about it was better. I thought the jokes, for the most part, were better. I thought the story was a million times better. Just all around improvements. Even to the point, like, there's better cameos in this movie than there was in the first one. Whereas this one, you have like the whole cast of the X-Men in that one scene, which I thought was hilarious because the whole thing about the first movie and why they have such weird X-Men in it is that Fox just wouldn't budge and would not let them use like any of the main X-Men. So they were like, Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And Fox was like, is that even a real thing? And they're like, yeah, it is. It's in our movie now. Ha ha ha. Nothing you could do about it. So they had to go like D-tier X-Men. So they kept that joke going in this movie, but Fox still allowed them to use the rest of the X-Men because of how successful the first one was. And just that one scene where they're in the house and they're all just like hiding behind the wall.
Right. I really enjoyed that part because like I like how he's like walking through the house. He's like, "Is there anybody even here?" And it's like everybody's there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Everyone's there. They're just...
he starts like knocking down the statues and stuff. I'm like, bro, like right there, man. Like it was just so casual, so casual.
What else? I thought the message was nice too, like a good solid message about keeping the future in like good condition, and by like the whole thing about kids are a good opportunity for you to right the wrongs you've made, and to better yourself and to better the future. I thought that was a really cool message too. I thought the music cuts in this movie were really good. Like just the way they transitioned a few scenes with the music, as well as also, what was that?
That's when he tries to go get Colossus back. I don't know the name of that song.
Oh yeah,
it's classic.
The Say Anything scene. Also like the reusage of certain songs in scenes, like there was, I think the scene where his wife gets shot or something in the background, you can hear "Aha, Take on Me." And then later in the movie, when when he's actually dead and is able to talk to her again or whatever that shit is going on, the song is playing like it's a different cover of "Take on Me" by Aha, and I was just like, oh, that's nice. I like that.
I didn't pick up on any of that.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of my favorite songs. So if I hear it twice in a movie, it's gonna be like, it's gonna pinpoint in my head. I'm like, oh, I heard you twice, 2 times. Good stuff.
2 times.
Yeah, and then of course, like the last thing I want to bring up, the post-credit scene, which was great, just fantastic post-credit scene, which is essentially Negasonic Teenage Warhead and her girlfriend Yukio, who's a minimal character throughout the movie, but she just brought me a lot of joy every time she was in the scene. Hi, Wade. Oh, hey, Yukio.
Hey, Yukio. Hey, Yukio. It's like they have this like really weird, awkward, angry conversation, and then at the end he's like, "Hey, Yukio. Hey, Wade." It's like, why are you so happy? Like,
yeah, this is really nice. But they fix Cable's like teleporter thing, and Wade uses it to go through the timeline and fix everything up. So he stops his wife from dying, which that's good, which means she can come back in the next movie and stuff like that. We also had him go back to X-Men Origins Wolverine and murder that Deadpool.
Why did people not like that? I was like too young and just not very interested.
Well, okay, so Deadpool's whole character is the merc with the mouth. They took away his mouth. That's his character. His character is, he's supposed to be this obnoxious, loud talking, never shutting up, just fucking kind of douchey little comic relief type thing. And they took that away and took away his guns and gave him sword hands. Like, it was just silly. It was just a really, really bad character design. So everyone made fun of it, and rightfully he killed it in that movie. He also went back in time and murdered Ryan Reynolds before he could star in the Green Lantern, so that fixed up the real world timeline too, I guess. We don't have to worry about that movie ever existing, because according to the end of that movie, it doesn't anymore, and I'm fine with that. Is there anything else he went back in time and fixed and did?
He saved all his X-Force people.
Oh, yeah. Well, Peter, he didn't save them all. No.
Just go home, Peter.
Just save Peter.
Just go home, man.
You're going to see something? Don't go towards it. Just go home. Get out of here.
Just go home, Peter.
Yeah, which was nice. Because Peter, for those who haven't seen the movie or whatever and don't mind me spoiling it, Peter was the one of the X-Force guys who does survive, and then he sees another one of the X-Force guys dying in the wood chipper, and he tries to help him out, but that guy's power is that he vomits acid, and he vomited acid all over Peter, who then died. And then all of them died except for Domino. But yeah, it was good. Also, I mean, it was also nice that, Cable used his one his one time jump to right his wrong and fix Deadpool. Also, another thing I really liked, that when Fire Fist, or whatever that character's name um, like hit Deadpool with the fire and his suit got all like burnt and ashy, it looked like the Deadpool X-Force outfit, which was really
Oh,
cool. Since the X-Force was a thing in this movie.
I I think my favorite scene of the movie is after Juggernaut rips him in half. Like, I really like how Deadpool didn't do anything. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, dude, I've always wanted to meet you. You're so amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Like, how do you stop the Juggernaut?" And he's like, "I'm gonna rip you in half now." He's like, "Well, you got to do what you got to do."
Yeah. Yeah, that also led me to one of my favorite things, which is TJ Miller kept saying he was shirt cocking it. And I
Yeah.
thought the term shirt cock was really funny. Just, oh, you're just shirt cocking it? Yep.
You're just shirt cocking it, man. Like that was my favorite scene in the movie. Is
Yeah.
him growing his body back. Like,
I mean, yeah, it was very silly. It was a very silly scene.
yeah, like how he gets up and
Like
shakes his
kid
hand
legs.
too. Like,
Yeah.
that was probably like one of my favorite parts of the movie because like that whole scene was like hilarious to me.
Yeah,
To where it was
I
just
agree.
like
Yeah.
I just laughed the entire time. So you mentioned like a bunch of jokes not landing. I think
Mhm.
when they don't land in this movie, they just go over my head. So I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
it just yeah. If some of them didn't land, it's not really like that big a deal because there were so many. Like this movie is jam packed with them that enough will land. You know, like
So-
regardless of whatever happens.
right. So it's like that scene. I didn't like laugh out loud, but I was chuckling. Like, well, these dudes are really stupid, and like
Mhm.
I enjoyed how much they milked that one joke. Like,
Yep.
just that entire scene
That
is just-
scene went
yeah.
on for a while. That scene was
They're
longer
like-
than I thought it had to be, but it was good.
Right, because they were definitely like milking it on purpose, and I think that's kind of like a part of his charm, just how
Right.
cheesy he is. So it was like one of those situations to where I just kind of just really enjoyed that aspect of the movie, especially that scene itself, because like
Mhm.
I think it's hard to do those scenes because usually it's a little overbearing. And after a point, you get a little cringy, but there's no way anybody got cringy in that moment. They
No,
were like,
that was good.
they were chuckling, and they might have been like, "Ah, you could have had a few less," but you were never like, "Nah, it's just a bad scene." So it was definitely my favorite part of the movie. Like, I think it just goes together so damn well. Outside those
Yeah.
villains, I wish they were a little bit more interesting, but you know, that's just that.
Yeah.
You know.
Uh,
That's all I got though.
And that's
It's
really
just-
all I have too. Like,
Right.
there's not a whole lot to say. It was a very good movie. You should definitely check it out. Ryan Reynolds, it really just captures the essence of Deadpool. I think he does a great job of Deadpool. Some people will say that Nolan North is the best Deadpool for his work in the video game, which he's okay. But Ryan Reynolds, I think,
Oh, perfect.
he's Deadpool as far as I'm concerned. Like, whatchamacallit, some people say that Christian Bale is Batman, or that that Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. That one I'll agree with. And this is another one. I think Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. I think he works so well, and like it translates just the amount of snark and the way he delivers his jokes and his lines is just perfect Deadpool. Even down to like the way he runs his Twitter account. I'm like, oh yeah, he's just Deadpool all the time. Great, I love it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
So-
they got it right for sure.
Yeah, I
And,
mean, he granted this was his, like, this is basically his baby. Like, this was him getting this off the ground. The first one was basically him getting
doing
off the ground.
all the heavy lifting.
Well, not all the heavy lifting, but for example, when they were first making the first one, I don't know if you know too much about this, but when they were first making the first one, it wasn't gonna get made. Period. Fox was like, they shot some test footage, and Fox was like, no. And then somehow, no one knows how, the test footage leaked onto the internet, and everybody
No
loved
one knows how.
Yeah, now Ryan Reynolds and the director are like, yeah, we did that. Sorry, we weren't supposed to, but everyone's happy in the end now, right? So, yeah, the test footage leaked onto the internet, and that's why we even got the first Deadpool, because of how everybody was like, this is perfect, like this is incredible. They did such a good job with this, and Fox was like, whoa, we did a good job, you say? Sure, we'll do that movie, but your budget's gonna be real low. This one they actually had a budget for, and you could tell.
Yeah, that's probably why it was more enjoyable. If the
Right.
first one was like super bare bones, then I have a feeling the first one would have been better if they would have
Well,
had the
like,
resources they needed.
you saw the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you remember when they're like going towards like the last fight scene and Wade is packing all the bags full of
Yeah.
guns and stuff, and then they get out of the cab and he's like, "Shit, I forgot all the guns." That's actually because they had in the budget initially for like a big fight scene there, like a big gun
Ah.
explosion-y fight scene, and then they're like, "Nope, we can't afford it. We're not going to do it." So they're like, "Okay, we'll just have Deadpool forget the guns. It'll be fine." And it worked out great. Like that scene ended up perfectly fine the way it was, but it was supposed to be like way more over the top than it was, but because of the budget they had to cut it down, and they cut it down in a way that like made sense for the character. I thought it was really funny.
It's kind of lame, you know? Like, I kind of want a Deadpool remake then. I don't know. I just feel kind of cheated, you know?
No, I
Because
mean, it is what it is. I think it worked out. I think it probably ended up just as good as it would have with all the added shit in the last scene.
I think you're about right. I think you're about right. Just because. But this one was just so damn perfect.
Yeah, this one was better.
It was just so damn perfect.
Yeah, it was very good. It like everything about it was good. Even the timeline stuff, like at least when Cable was doing it, it made sense because like when he was changing things in the past, things in the future to some extent changed. Like when you saw the heart of Fire Fist change, like the grime and blood on the bear started wiping away and stuff like that. I don't know. It was just it was a very good movie. I don't really have anything to nitpick about it.
I kind of like the way they do time travel too. Like, do they know that they went back in time? Like when Deadpool kind of
No,
like
no.
got sent back.
What you mean when Cable goes back and saves?
Well, when
Deadpool
Cable
every
goes
time?
back, it seems like he keeps his like.
Right, yeah, because if
His
you're
sense.
the one traveling, you keep your memories, but if you're the like anyone else, you don't have any memory of the other.
Okay.
That makes sense to you?
Yeah. Because like I mean, I'm pretty sure they do this on purpose. They don't explain very much, but that
Right.
like goes along with the way the movie's supposed to work.
Right.
And if you get too serious, like it just kills the humor of the movie. So like I'm kind of a serious person, so it's like
Right.
it's a give and take for me. It's just me understanding artistically that that's the way it's supposed to be done. That's this character. That is the spirit of what he is, and you can't take that away from him. So, But I'm ready to go into closing remarks because again, this movie is what it is, and it's better to just watch it. It's so damn hard to review. I'm quite curious what other people are going to say about this movie. So
It's getting fairly good reviews in like the media and stuff. I think it has like an 82% on Rotten Tomato or something like that, or like mid 80s around. So fairly positive.
I forgot this. I wish it didn't release so close to Avengers, like Infinity War. Like I kind of don't like that it was released so close because that's still on everybody's brain. It's like what everybody's
Yeah, but I
about.
do like that they made jokes about it. Well, not like that, not about the release table, but like how Deadpool calls Josh Brolin's character Thanos.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I'm just saying, like, I just think this movie could have been, like, it just could have reached higher heights, I think. Because it's like, I'm about to rate this movie here in a few minutes, and that was, like, kind of the one thing, like, after I got done, I was like, why is it so close?
I mean,
it's a great-ass movie, but, man.
Yeah, this is it's not, Disney probably wouldn't have put that movie there. Disney wouldn't have made that movie come out there if that was their movie. They would have probably delayed it a couple months because they keep all their Marvel movies a couple months apart or so. But that's that if you look at the movie schedule for the rest of the summer, which I did yesterday, it's pretty loaded. There's very few places where you can put Deadpool 2 where it doesn't get kind of overshadowed by everything else. I think this was a good place to put it because, yes, it was pretty close to Infinity War, but it is in before Solo, which comes out next week. And then there's
I'm not super excited about Solo, though. Like, I understand it's a Star Wars movie, but...
that's what it is. Regardless of how excited you are, there's a fucking shit ton of people who are very excited about it.
Like, I'll imagine we'll go just because me and you are gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna see it.
that's probably it. But like, to be honest, everybody I'm talking to, they're like, whatever. It's
I mean,
cool that Childish
listen,
Gambino's in
yeah,
it.
I was about to say I'm a Donald Glover stan, so anything Donald Glover touches is melts in my mouth, not in my hand. Like all about Donald Glover, so I will see anything he's in. I've been following that dude since Bro Rape, yeah, I guess since Derek comedy days.
Like, I like a lot of his stuff, but like, I don't know. This movie, I just don't like the way it looks. Like,
That's fair. It's interesting. Like, I kind of want it to be like a Western. I don't know if it'll be a Western. It might be. The way the trailer made it seem like it could kind of be a Western, and I think that would be cool. But we'll see, man. It could end up being awesome. Like, look at Rogue One, for example. Like Rogue One, leading up to Rogue One, I was kind of like, this might be okay, like whatever. And then I saw it, and I was like, yo, that movie was the truth. Like, that was a cool ass movie.
it's actually a movie I didn't see, basically
Really?
for the same reason.
Yeah, Rogue One was good. Rogue One was actually, like, in a lot of people's opinions, Rogue One is the best movie that they've released since Disney bought Star Wars.
I would imagine so, because all the ones that they've come
really
out so
like The Force Awakens.
far are like, meh.
I like The Force Awakens a lot. I understand why a lot of people don't, because it's basically just a reskin version of A New Hope, and I totally understand that. But when I saw Force Awakens, I was like in awe, and I loved it. And I saw The Last Jedi, I was like, I didn't really like that movie, and everybody's like, you need to watch it again then.
You need to watch that boy again. If I had to choose,
I watched it again, and I was like, I didn't really like that either.
Like, it was definitely better than the first, in my opinion. And it may be just the stigma of it remaking the movie. Like, that really did bother me. Like, I left the movie like,
no, I understand.
Well, damn, if I was gonna watch that movie, then I'd go watch that damn movie. Like, I
understand a lot of people felt like that. I didn't feel like that. I thought they were different enough. I saw the similarities for sure, but I didn't think that they were the same exact movie. So I enjoyed it. But
it was a times 10 version, man. Like, it was for sure the same damn movie. I was like, ah! But I'm that kind of guy though, So it's just like, I get it. You're so much more easygoing. Hey, it was fun, and I can give it that. It had a lot of spicy things that were interesting. By the way, I still want to know what Kylo Ren did to that blaster shot. Nobody knows, man. Nobody knows.
Stopped in there, dude.
I know. It's like, who knows, man? I'm like, bro, this is a new power. This is a new ability, man. Like,
I'm fine with it.
Like, let's explore this. But, everybody doesn't seem to really bring it up ever again. It's just like, what happened? Things like this happen with the Force all the time, man. You just don't make sense of it. It's the Force, man.
Yeah,
it's the Force.
To some extent, but then in the second movie, they do dumb shit with the Force, too. Like, the Force just gets dumber and dumber. They just add more shit that the Force can do, and I understand why that's kind of lame, but it is what it is.
And then I think they get the power levels wrong. So if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, I think they kind of have that syndrome to where, I don't know, there just has to be a more and more powerful Force user. They just can't be wise about the way they do it. They can't be really good at, like, sword fighting and all that stuff, which makes them better than other people. No, they just have to have the strongest midichlorians in the universe.
Well, midichlorians I don't even think is canon anymore. They mentioned midichlorians in, like, episode 1, and everybody's like, that's some dumb shit. And then they've never mentioned it again, so I don't think midichlorians is really canon. I think it was something that George Lucas wanted to happen, just to give some sort of form of explanation, and then everybody was like, "Nah, that sounds
don't like
dumb."
that.
Yeah, so they're just like, "All right, fine, it's dumb then. Whatever. No more midichlorians. Ray's super powerful, okay? No more midichlorians.
It's just so stupid." And so it's like you just lose track of, like, trying to make a movie make sense. Instead, you're just like, "All right, well, what can we make happen that's spectacular here?" And then it just makes characters like Luke, because, like, I went down that rabbit hole, with the whole Jedi type of thing, and I'm, like, exploring that universe and things of that nature, and, like, it gets super in depth, and, like, Luke's really strong, and it's just like, like, they just kind of underplayed him in that last movie, like we talked about. I was like, it would have been awesome if he would have force pushed that whole army, man. That would have been next level.
Yeah, but he wasn't there. Can't force push when he's fucking space away.
I mean, he was a galaxy away, you know. I don't know. It would have just been cool, and I would have been okay with Rey
Yeah, I
moving.
mean, I'm sure it would have looked cool, but it would have been like really hard to explain. Like, I
I
mean,
mean,
obviously, it doesn't really matter. Fucking everybody was pissed off at the movie. Well, not everybody. Some people loved it, so whatever. More power to them. If you love Last Jedi, great, good. I'm glad people were supposed to like movies. So anytime they come out, if everybody just doesn't like it, what was the point? You know. So glad people like the Last Jedi. I, on the other hand, thought it was dumb and it made a lot of weird, stupid choices.
but anyways, we've drifted super
Yeah, we
far
have.
off
We're talking about the wrong sequel. We're talking
It's
about
like-
Deadpool 2. Final
Well-
final remarks. What do you got?
Well, I think it was a perfect damn movie. This is the first 10 I'm giving. You know, it
10
like
out of 10.
yeah, yeah. It was like we started. He was like, you know, we just don't really have much to say about it other than it was great.
Yeah,
you
it was
know,
good.
it does what it's supposed to. It's good, like good humor. You know, it's got a little bit of chaos. It's got action. It's got all the things that it's supposed to have. And you know, you fall in love with Deadpool.
It
Like,
even has
I'm
twists
officially
and
a fan.
turns and misdirections. Like there was things that happened in that movie that wasn't expected. There was characters that a lot of the characters in the movie I did not expect to see there. And so all around solid.
I'm kind of
Thumbs
upset.
up for me.
I'm kind of upset that we never see Colossus use his power though. Like,
What are you talking about?
well, he can like blow stuff up around him. Like, I don't know what it's called, but he can like literally, like, I don't know what it's called. I should like look it up real quick.
I don't know. I always thought that Colossus was just a dude who turned steel. That was I thought his power was becoming steel.
Because I remember playing all those games. Colossus wiki real quick before we go. Let's find the powers, all right? Powers and abilities. Let's see. Colossus is a mutant with the ability to transform his entire form to steel or properties similar to something unknown composition. Colossus transforms his entire body in armored state. He can transform a portion of his body. When he transforms, he gains approximately blah 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 weight blah blah blah.
I don't know. Maybe you're thinking of someone else.
Okay, while he was great resistance to temperature, extreme hot and cold, rapid cooling, extreme classes. I have no idea. Maybe that was an over exaggeration in the actual game itself. So if we went back and played that 2D scroller that was in arcades and stuff, he had this move where he like it would turn rainbow
X-Men
around him.
Legends.
I don't remember what the game was called, but I think that's about right. You know, where you like he'd shout and like all this rainbow like aura would come around him and he blows things up.
Yeah, it's probably just to give him another move. I'm not familiar.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. Like every game I've ever played with Colossus, his ability is just like I don't take a lot of damage and I'm made out of steel, so I hit hard.
Right. So it's like I don't know. Maybe I'll look a little bit into that later. But yeah, it was just yeah. I mean yeah. We'll just leave it at that. It was a perfect 10 movie. You know,
Yeah.
very first one, and it's like I'm sad that it's gonna be overshadowed by all these other movies because it's an instant classic. I watched it and I was like, man, like I could rewatch this.
Don't let it get overshadowed then, man.
Well, how? You know, it's like you came after Infinity Wars, and even though I gave Infinity Wars a 9, it's still Infinity Wars.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, but it's it's its own different thing. You let whatever you want not get overshadowed here, buddy. Forget about what the world has to say.
in my head, sure, but like in everyone else's, it's clearly gonna get kind of swept under the rug.
Even if it came out 2 months after Infinity Wars, it would still probably never live up to Infinity Wars just because of you just can't. An R-rated movie will never outgross anything that fucking babies can get into. That's basically what it is. That's what it comes down to as far as like overshadowing by money amount made. Like Avengers Infinity War will make probably more money than any movie ever until like another Star Wars, like a main series Star Wars or something comes out. Maybe not though, because the last one was disappointing. So I don't think that the next one is going to be as popular as the last one was.
See, people are gonna still see that movie.
People are still going to still see it, but like the Last Jedi, I don't think made more money than the Force Awakens.
More or less.
Yeah, but regardless,
yeah.
Deadpool 2 is a very good movie, and it'll live on as a very good movie. I think this will be one of those gems. You know, this is going to be one of those gems that people are like, that's a solid movie.
Okay, well that does it for us today. Are you busy next week? I think. Is it next week? I know you said you had something coming up.
No, that canceled that a long time ago. That's when I was supposed to be moving. I don't think I have anything on next week.
Okay, cool. I just misunderstood. So I guess we'll be back next week. Again, we don't know what our topic is, but that's okay. That's grand. It's cool. It's probably solo. Who am I kidding?
Probably solo. You know what? Just prepare for it to be solo.
It's solo is what we're going.
The audience at home, I hope you're excited. We talking solo next.
But D-Live, man.
Who knows, man? Maybe you'll cut because you weren't super excited about seeing Deadpool 2 either, and then you saw it and you're like, wow, I was pleasantly surprised. So maybe you'll watch Solo and you'll be like, yo, all right, cool.
That's a Star Wars movie I can get behind.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I don't know about this one. I mean, again,
I understand.
Donald Glover's in there,
understand your
so,
hesitance.
It's like that'll be cool. But like maybe I just don't like Han Solo. Like I never did.
I get it. Han Solo is I don't if they made a movie out of any character, I don't think Han Solo would be the first one I picked either.
Boba Fett.
Why? Just so we could like force lore upon Boba Fett?
Boba Fett, kind of. I mean, he was just the only interesting.
He's the only. He's not interesting. He doesn't do anything. He just looks cool, and people are like, "Yo, that's the dopest character in Star Wars." Like, dude, you see him on screen for like 3 minutes, and he dies. That's his whole story arc. I'm here. I capture Han Solo. I died a space sandworm. Like, get out of here. I think. That being said, Boba Fett is probably pretty cool, and he has a lot of lore.
Like,
that would be cool.
You can say what you want, but like
he's a dumbass character that's super overhyped for no reason. But the real character, Obi-Wan, and that is a movie that they will be making, and they better cast Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, or the internet will riot.
They could go back and tell the origins of Jedi to begin with. I think that would be really interesting.
That's the best thing. If they go back Old Republic era, I will gladly see that movie 8 times, even if it's ass butthole. Just ass butthole.
Right, yeah. So it's like, I think they should do that, and like going in the lore.
Like the wars, yeah.
Like going into the lore in general and just kind of going down that rabbit hole. It's very, very interesting.
There's a lot of stuff too. There's a lot of like stuff that they could pull.
There's
like
a lot of
Revan,
there's a lot of
there's the rule of 2, there's gray Jedis, there's the Sith versus like Jedi real war that happens when there's not just 2 Sith before the rule of 2 exists. Stuff like that, dude. Like shit could get wild, man. Like that's the Old Republic like MMO was whatever. It was okay. The gameplay itself was actually kind of fun, and the story mode was really cool, and the lore behind it was dope. But
the cinematic trailers for that stuff was amazing.
Yo, yeah,
I
dude.
Still watch it. I'm like,
hell yeah.
This is good.
I got so hyped when I watched the first cinematic for that game.
It was pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
But we could go on forever. We'll call it there. Thank you guys for coming out. D-Live, man, as always, thank you for the support. You guys really help us run our show and do our thing and make money doing it. I appreciate you guys. That is goodbye to you guys. Hopefully we'll catch you next week. And now we're off to Twitch, man. You guys are awesome. You guys are great as well. You know, every now and then we have a few guests coming in. I think we saw this movie a little too fast, which made a few people not show up.
People not want to get spoiled.
Right.
Which is fine. Like I totally wouldn't want to spoil this movie for anyone because like I said, I watched the trailer and I thought I figured what was going to happen, and then all the characters that I thought were going to be kind of a big deal died in seconds.
And then,
because there was bad wind.
So we'll see how Solo goes, because we're actually on a roll. This is like, I think the same thing's gonna happen. We were like, I'm not getting spoiled, son. But you guys can catch our conversation on YouTube.
Yep.
We appreciate all the views and stuff like that. But much love, you guys. See you later.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Yukio.
Bye, Yukio.